What is it that ever is? Space, the eternal Anupadaka. What is it that ever was? The germ in the root. What is it that is ever coming and going? The great breath. Then there are three eternals. No, there is only one. That which is one. That which ever was is one. That which is ever being and becoming is also one. And this is space. The one is an unbroken circle with no circumference, for it is nowhere and everywhere. The one is the boundless plane of the circle, manifesting a diameter only during the Manvartaric periods. The one is the indivisible point found nowhere, but perceived everywhere during those periods. It is the vertical and the horizontal, the father and the mother, the summit and base of the father, the two extremities of the mother, reaching in reality nowhere. For the one is the ring, as also the rings that are within that ring. Light in darkness and darkness in light, the breath which is eternal. It proceeds from without inwardly when it is everywhere, and from within outwardly when it is nowhere. It expands and contracts. When it expands, the mother diffuses and scatters. When it contracts, the mother draws back and ingathers. This produces the periods of evolution and dissolution. But during evolution, her garment is cool and radiant. Hot breath is the father who devours the progeny of the many-faced element and leaves the single-faced ones. Cool breath is the mother who conceives forms, brings forth, and receives them back into her bosom to reform them at the dawn of the day of Brahma.
The Secret Doctrine establishes three fundamental propositions: an omnipresent, eternal, boundless, and immutable principle on which all speculation is impossible, since it transcends the power of human conception and could only be dwarfed by any human expression or similitude. It is beyond the reach and range of thought. In the words of the Mandakya, unthinkable and unspeakable. To render these ideas more clear to the general listener, let us set out with the postulate that there is one absolute reality which antecedes all manifested conditioned being. This infinite and eternal cause, dimly formulated in the unconscious and unknowable of current philosophy, is the rootless root of all that was and all that will ever be. It is, of course, devoid of all attributes, and is essentially without any relation to manifested finite being. It is beingness rather than being, and is beyond all thought or speculation. This beingness is symbolized in the Secret Doctrine under two aspects. On the one hand, absolute space, representing bare subjectivity, the one thing which no human mind can either exclude from any conception or conceive of by itself. And on the other, absolute abstract motion, representing unconditioned consciousness. Even our Western thinkers have shown that consciousness is inconceivable to us apart from change. And motion best symbolizes change, its essential characteristic. This latter aspect of the one reality is also symbolized by the term the great breath. Thus, then the first fundamental axiom of the Secret Doctrine is the metaphysical one absolute beingness, symbolized by finite intelligence as the theological Trinity. It is the one life, eternal, invisible, yet omnipresent, without beginning or end, yet periodic in its regular manifestations, between which periods reign the dark mystery of non-being, unconscious yet absolute consciousness, unrealizable yet the one self-existing reality, truly a chaos to the sense, a cosmos to the reason. Its one absolute attribute, which is itself eternal, ceaseless motion, called in the esoteric parlance the Great Breath, which is the perpetual motion of the universe, in the sense of limitless, ever-present space. That which is motionless cannot be divine, but then there is nothing in fact and reality absolutely motionless within the universal soul. The infinite is the eternal, ever-present cause of all, the incomprehensible deity whose invisible robes are the mystic roots of all matter and of the universe. Space is the one eternal thing that we can most easily imagine, immovable in its abstraction and uninfluenced by either the presence or absence in it of an objective universe. It is, as taught in the esoteric teachings, neither limitless void nor conditioned fullness, but both.
All creation is contained in the call of the heart. The entire cosmic expanse is permeated with a call, and the heart of Cosmos and the heart of an Arhat are permeated with the call. The call and the answer comprise the combination of the cosmic fires. Union is verily the manifestation of our cycle. Many cycles are created by the call, and these, expanding intensely, embrace different spheres. The affirmation of creation is manifested as union. Therefore, let us stand before the porthole which leads to the infinite. Let us stand before the fiery chain of ascent where immortality awaits us. Merging into the waves of the infinite, we may be compared to flowers torn away by a storm. How shall we find ourselves transfigured in the ocean of the infinite? It would be unwise to send out a boat without a rudder, but the pilot is predestined, and the creation of the heart will not be precipitated into the abyss. Like milestones on a luminous path, the brothers of humanity, ever alert, are standing on guard, ready to lead the traveler into the chain of ascent. Hierarchy is not coercion. It is the law of the universe. It is not a threat, but the call of the heart and a fiery admonition directing toward the general good. Thus, let us cognize the hierarchy of light.
The one reality is the field of absolute consciousness. That essence which is out of all relation to conditioned existence, and of which conscious existence is a conditioned symbol. But once we pass in thought from this absolute negation, duality supervenes in the contrast of spirit and matter, or subject and object. Spirit and matter, being but a reflection of spirit, are, however, to be regarded not as independent realities, but as the two facets or aspects of the absolute existence, which constitute the basis of conditioned being, whether subjective or objective. Considering the metaphysical triad as the root from which proceeds all manifestation, the great breath assumes the character of pre-cosmic ideation. It is the force of all individual consciousness, and supplies the guiding intelligence in the vast scheme of cosmic evolution. On the other hand, pre-cosmic root substance is that aspect of the absolute which underlies all the objective planes of nature. Just as pre-cosmic ideation is the root of all individual consciousness, so pre-cosmic substance is the substratum of matter in the various grades of its differentiation. Hence it will be apparent that the contrast of these two aspects of the absolute is essential to the existence of the manifested universe. Apart from cosmic substance, cosmic ideation could not manifest as individual consciousness, since it is only through a vehicle of matter that consciousness wells up as I am I, a physical basis being necessary to focus a ray of the universal mind at a certain stage of complexity. Again, apart from cosmic ideation, cosmic substance would remain an empty abstraction, and not emergence of consciousness could ensue. The manifested universe, therefore, is pervaded by duality, which is, as it were, the very essence of its existence as manifestation. But just as the opposite poles of subject and object, spirit and matter, are but aspects of the one unity in which they are synthesized, so in the manifested universe there is that which links spirit to matter, or subject to object. This something at present unknown in Western speculation is called by occultists Fohat. It is the bridge by which the ideas existing in the divine thought are impressed on cosmic substance as the laws of nature. Fohat is thus the dynamic energy of cosmic ideation, or regarded from the other side, it is the intelligent medium, the guiding power of all manifestation, the divine thought, transmitted and made manifest through the Dhyan Kohans, the architects of the visible world. Thus, from spirit or cosmic ideation comes our consciousness, and from cosmic substance, the several vehicles in which that consciousness is individualized and attains to self or reflective consciousness. While Fohat in its various manifestations is the mysterious link between mind and matter, the animating principle, electrifying every atom into life.
Is it worthwhile to speak of infinity if it is unattainable? But it does exist, and everything great, even if invisible, compels us to think about the ways to it. Thus, even now let us ponder about the ways into infinity, for it exists, and it is terrifying if it is not cognized. But even in the earthly life, one can approach, and can temper the spirit toward the acceptance of the unfathomable. A great deal remains unknown to us, yet we do overcome our ignorance. Thus, even if we do not understand the meaning of infinity, we are able to realize it as something unavoidable and therefore meriting special attention. How else may we temper into commensurateness our thoughts and actions? Verily, by comparison with infinity, we realize the scope of our grievances and triumphs. Similarly, understand your reciprocative feelings and express them in the language of your heart. This language of understanding and sympathy will open the first gates to infinity.